Well, remember when we used to talk about Colorado on every show? Every show was Colorado, every segment was Colorado, and now they're just some night game, two touchdown underdogs against the Bruins. They've lost three of their last four games coming in now to this one. Still, they're a little bit entertaining, I would say, at least to say the least. Here they've given up, just a bushel full of points, and I don't know, probably would happen again here, even against the UCLA team that maybe is known for their defense. The Pac-12, but we pumped them up a little bit this year, certainly, and they're probably worthy of their bet, but they still have some issues, defensively. It's tough to throw in some of these Colorado historical numbers with not covering spreads because that they're a completely different team, but to a certain extent, they're kind of uh, leaving. They're still kind of not covering spreads in a way because the bookmakers have done a pretty nice job with them. It feels like here's Thomas Lewis who wants to lay the points with UCLA. Here's Blake says, "Give me the Bruins as well." See, I don't know. I feel like this is a you know spot that I want to play Colorado. I mean, I don't. Okay, maybe UCLA has one of the better defenses in the Pac-12. I mean, I don't think they're Utah defense necessarily, but are we still dealing with this number here? We're just making sure on this with this game at 15 and the total at 61. Yeah, looks like it here certainly. Put that. Put yesterday. I'm throwing that page right into the garbage, you guys. We did have a lot of free winners. Thank you for that comment. And yeah, we raced a big win from Thursday. That's for sure. All right, for Colorado though, 3-13 as a road underdog. Last 16 games against the spread, getting points on the road. Now that part has never changed, right? But here we are still. We do have Colorado getting healthier here a little bit. UCLA they lost at Utah 14-7, getting 3.5 points. They lost at Oregon State as well by 12 points. So UCLA has been going under big time so far. This total dropped significantly. Now Circa did open it as high as 71 and a half, or we saw 71 and a half anyway in the opener. But I think by the time most bettors got to market, it was 65. And we've still seen a big drop here. But I don't feel like this is all about UCLA defense necessarily in this one. I think they've adjustment. While granted, it feels like it's a lot of sharp action to a certain extent. I'm going to fade it, and I think there's value when I say value. And if there was something that was 71 and a half or even 65 and now it's 61, to me the sale is on the over here. And I know a lot of people will are saying, hey, the Bruins have a really good defense. They'll slow Colorado. Well, not if the Bruins are taking advantage of Colorado's poor defense a little bit. To me, I think Colorado's the type that just keeps coming back. And Peasy, we got to find a way. We're going to work that in somehow. I don't know how we could, this is a little bit different here, right? So uh, here, Thomas saying, the Bruins, uh, the size differential here. Um, what else here we got? Lazzy wants Colorado. Ferner says, give me a little bit more. Um, I don't know, Chad. Is there though? I mean, look, this was as high as 17. So even if Burner's buying up to 19, that's probably a little bit too expensive. I probably would just have to, at this point, if it's going to sit here at 15, I'd probably only be able to go to maybe 18 and a half. Yeah, thank you, Nunya here, like and smash. And maybe Thomas, I don't know if I'll get to maybe I definitely the lean. I think Colorado here, but I'm gonna end up. I'm gonna give out the over as my free play in this one. Three of the last three meetings between these two have gone over. That's with really bad Colorado and UCLA that probably hasn't been as good as this. Blake says this they got the adjustment right now, so I'm thinking you know more hasn't been and the Bruins. We'll see what the Bruins do in the future at quarterback. Right, more hey. That's their guy, and I think he's fine. I mean, he's only a freshman, but there's some inconsistencies here. All right, let's do it. I'll take the over in this one. Let me with the Bucks today in this one going up against Wisconsin on the road. All right, and for Wisconsin here, this one Ohio State opened 12-point favorite or so. Uh, well, I want to say, you know what? There was even a lower number in the early look aheads. I saw, um, in a look ahead line, Ohio State as low as 9.5, and that was at a pretty square offshore book that, was offering it kind of early. So obviously here, Ohio State's still doing pretty well. They're not the usual world beaters that we expect from them, but. Good enough to be to have it on the wrong. Did you guys already say in the chat that I have it on the wrong team here? Have the spread on the wrong team. 30 minutes, two typos. Can't fret here. So, all right. And here's Thomas. He's ready to go already and lay the points here with Ohio State. I would imagine that the Ohio State, the defense travels and maybe the offense has more of a problem here against Wisconsin. Now, this total has kind of been going up a little bit, just slightly, but man, 46.5 now at the bottom, and this one opened mostly. Uh, Maybe not much movement, but I did see a opener as low as 43.5. So I don't know. Feels like it's creating a little bit of value on the under here. Ohio State, I do expect them to go in and, win this game, whether or not they get this money or not. Maybe I'm not ready to pick that necessarily here on the air at this time, but for me, I would think that if they do go in and can win this game by a couple of touchdowns, that's going to result in them being able to limit Wisconsin offensively. For me, and that's I think how Ohio State will eventually win this game, and maybe it stays under the Bucks. We're not discrediting their 7-0 record right now. It just feels like nobody's talking about Ohio State in the group of, if they go undefeated, obviously that's going to be, the offense. Look, see, I mean, these are typical comments right now, right? The offense needs to wake up, and maybe they don't have the offense we've seen in the past or whatever. But if that defense works, right? Ferner says, lay 12.5 here. So I will say Ohio State, I mean, usually because of their offense, they go over quite a bit. I mean, they've gone over here in 22 of their last 34 games on the road. But Ohio State 9-3-1 against the number in this series. And Chad probably just to lay the first half here, but he's still laying well over a touchdown here. And Terrell says Wisconsin ain't going to be ready for this one. They better have some defense, right? In this one, Wisconsin 9-4 to the under, last 13 as an underdog, but they're not getting spreads at all right now. 3-7-1 against the spread. Their last 11 games, if you will, a full season, just about a full season here, with going under considerably in this one, and that's how I'm going to go. If it's going to be 46, I'm going to go under. Wisconsin does all they can to limit Ohio State. Maybe Ohio State gets the win here, but 28-14, that gets it done somewhere right in there. That would be right on the spread. Keep it under. So I don't know. I'm just not necessarily either tipping my hand or totally confident in the spread. Want to give you a play here in this one. I'm going under. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss on Saturday. College football pick. Take a look. Ole Miss, big favorite here, 25 points. Yeah, maybe it's even down to 24 and a half. Now, I did see a low open of as low as 21 and a half on a look ahead. And then, it's been a pretty rough season, certainly for Vanderbilt. And, they are, I don't know, they're one of the, in a way, they're one of the worst teams in the country. But when you start talking about, you know, if the spread did open somewhere 21 and a half, and I think the general openers look to be, 24s and right around this range, but it doesn't matter really because Vanderbilt, they just stay in there every time against very good teams. Look, they're in the midst of their SEC schedule, just like always. They're always one of the lower teams in there. We make fun of them. So like, get rid of some of these SECT. Let's do a merger and kind of send them out. Maybe we can make some really crummy conferences. We're not going to say that. I'm just wasting time here at this point because really for Vanderbilt, look what they've done so far. They covered against Georgia. They were getting 31 points or more. They only lost that one by 17. They were playing Florida, yeah, they lost by 24. They were getting 18. They didn't cover any spreads. Look, they didn't cover any spreads for the longest time. But it's funny because even though they didn't cover, they're just maybe usually less than a touchdown from it. So that's what it feels like to me. Is that I want to just keep trying to grab these points with Vanderbilt. Like it just is going too high. And that I don't know. So look, they lost to Missouri by 17. They were getting 14. They did not cover, but they hung in there. UK, they lost by 17. They were getting 13. It's not like they were any of these games where they were getting double digits and they were getting 14 points and they lost by 35. And I guess you're not supposed to do that. They're still not getting the money. So I'm trying to make the case here for Vanderbilt just because I feel like even with Ole Miss, the line's just a little bit uh, too high. That cover last week against Georgia was Vanderbilt's first cover in like a year, right? So that's an accomplishment in itself. So I think I'm going to be all alone here. Thomas is on Ole Miss, and let's see what else. Anything good? Thank you, Nunya, for your plays in there. And I did think about that actually. We were talking about those names, and when we were looking it up, you talked about PZ if you're still there. But you know what? That really is Mr. Bittler's play name, one of his play names, actually, the money shot. So we'll have to. I don't know. I'm going to see how. I think he uses it quite a bit. So I'll just have to rethink that. I'm trying to find my own catchphrase name. That's all. My own play of the day name. Everybody's got one, it seems like, but me. Maybe I'm not that guy. All right, Ole Miss team total. I didn't look at it, but I would imagine that it is somewhere. Let me see. What's the line? The line is it 62 still? All right. I would imagine 31, 12. I would imagine it's 43 and a half or so. I like that one, PZ. Darn it. I don't know what I can do, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Bittler, a pretty good handicapper, of course, uh, veteran capper. Uh, Hi, Joseph. Nice to see you today. All right. Anyways, just give me Vanderbilt here. Yeah, we give out free picks. We give out a lot of picks, good or bad. But you know what? Why pass, right? I guess if you look at it and it's right on, you could just pass. But uh, how many times it lands exactly on the number? Let's take a pick. All right. North Carolina and uh, Georgia Tech here in this one. Now we're on 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific with North Carolina on the road at Tech. I saw openers as high in this one as 14 points for North Carolina, and I saw a total that when we were on the opening lines show, it was mostly felt like 11 and a half, went up to 12, and then went to 14, or was that another? I'm not sure. But the total opened 64 and a half. I have seen as low as 61 with North Carolina and Georgia Tech. North Carolina, of course, comes in with that 6-1 record. They're 2-0 on the road so far. Tech 3-4 with a 1-3 record at home thus far. And I don't know if Georgia Tech's going to be able to get enough points to help this game get into the 60s here. I would figure they are. Oh, that is great, Chad. Thank you for that information. Uh, Chad, I do want to read if that is. I will check that out because I do like reading. I like reading sports betting books, and there aren't that many. All right. Anyways, let me get back to this one with Georgia Tech. I say that their offense. I mean, they're 5-2 to the over. That's one thing, and this series has gone over in 8 of the last 12 meetings. But I'm not sure that Georgia Tech. Yeah, I mean, King's been good. He does have 9 interceptions here, and you are going up against May, certainly one of the top yardage quarterbacks in the country. So I get the line being high here, but this should still be a decent enough game. I would think that maybe it could be considered on the low here with these two teams. North Carolina, especially as a double digit favorite in the game, which uh, in itself does seem like Georgia Tech has made some strides here coming in with their record, pretty decent anyway. So let's see on these numbers how they've shifted here, because to me the sharps are all, uh, pretty strong on the over, but I just feel like it's gone a little bit too high here. If it's 65 or maybe there's 64 and a halfs out there, I could stand maybe to push it down a little bit in this one, but um, yeah, I think Georgia Tech's got enough defense. I'm going to be on the under in this game with North Carolina and Georgia Tech, despite this. Um, yeah, I mean, look, Georgia Tech's been kind of subtly decent with their passing game this season. They average 8.1 yards per attempt. And if you compare that to North Carolina at 8.6, I mean, that's not making an argument here for my under, but if anything, North Carolina, they do allow less than 4 yards per rushing attempt. So, all right, Ferner here. He said it looks like he's saying buy it down to 9.5 and still take it under, right? With Washington State and Arizona State. Well, I probably could have passed on maybe previewing this one, and we got so many games today. And man, it's just been we talk up the Pac-12 all year long here, right? And what a great year it's been. But Arizona State, a team that they've had occasions where they've been okay, but right now it doesn't feel like they've been too good. And this total has moved down here to 49.5. Oh boy. Uh, this is one I thought I was going to be maybe interested in an under here, but I don't know. Probably end up just maybe giving it out here on the show right now. You have Washington. They've lost their last 3 games. They've given up some. Washington State, of course, they've given up some big numbers in those games. probably 35-point average in those 3 losses. The Cougars were outgained in those games. They gave up over 1,500 yards total in their last 3 games, while not even reaching 1,000 yards of offense. But this is their role. They are 7-1 in their last 8 games as a road favorite for Arizona State. They haven't beaten a Division I team yet. The only team that they beat is Southern Utah. So it's been bad. If anything, you're getting maybe a little bit of a discount here. I've seen a line as high as 7 in this game. Now, I did see it as low as 5. In fact, I show some 5s currently out there right now with Washington State. So, but this one, it does just keep moving lower, it seems here. Maybe it was as high as 51.5, and now we're looking definitely at 49.5. No matter pretty much where you look, and that's where I'm going to go. I think it does go under this number. Maybe it's not the best value for me to a certain extent. And Chad says public is all over Arizona State, right? Is that what you're saying here? And yeah, I do see that they are all over Arizona State in this one. That's kind of peculiar, right? For a public team. I mean, an 80% public ticket here, taking this home dog. And, I know Tony's on Arizona State on his video as well, but wow, Chad, that is something. I mean, I'd probably be more apt to lay it, but I'm not sure right now. I'll take the under Washington State and Arizona State. All right, Cincinnati going to be on the road against Oklahoma State in this one. And Oklahoma State, 7.5-point favorite here at home against Cincinnati. All right. And in this one for the Cowboys coming in with this matchup, they've won their last 3 games in a row now, and averaging in those games probably about 39, 40 points. They scored 29, 39, 48. So, but they have allowed 32 or more points in 4 of their last 5 games. So for the Cowboys, they are 16-7 against the spread in their last 23 conference games. That's pretty strong, but you are laying a little bit of a hook here right now with that 7.5. And Cincinnati certainly, even with this, I don't know, 2-5 right now, certainly got to raise some red flags. They've only beat Pittsburgh. We tried to maybe think that Cincinnati had a pretty good team, but and they've had some tough games, but just doesn't seem to work out necessarily. Cincinnati, they do run the ball okay, but who'd they beat? They beat Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh. That was their only 1A win, I think. Here's Ferner on Oklahoma State in this one. Yeah, I wish there was a little bit cheaper price here. What's that total at? That total's at 53. That's been going down, down, down as well. Oklahoma State has gone over in 3 of their last 4 games, but I don't know if Cincinnati's going to have enough offense necessarily to help this one get over the way they've been looking. In Oklahoma State, they've had some nice performances on defense at home so far. So I'm probably apt to go under here and think that Cincinnati is not going to be able to produce enough points. Oklahoma State has gone 10-3 to the under in their last 13 games overall. And there's a Blake. He says we want to go under. Yeah, the Undertaker. There are a couple of guys out there kind of doing that one too. I'm not trying to be hard on you guys, and it's just a nickname. And who knows? Maybe I'm a guy who doesn't need a nickname. I've always been a nickname guy. My family doesn't even call me Ramon. They have a nickname for me, and I'm not going to share it here. That's between my family and I. If anybody types in the chat, anybody in my Facebook watching, any of my family and friends, if you want to type in what everybody calls me, you can do that. But I'm not going to say it. If you guys know, someone can type it in and I'll acknowledge it. It's a cute name. It's a, kind of a kid name, but I like it. So I'm still a kid. All right, here we go. Keep it rolling. Cincinnati and Oklahoma State. I'm going to go under in this one. Like I said, with Oklahoma State, they've been a pretty consistent under. 10 of their last 13 overall going under. They are just 3-4 to the under this season, but I'll look for them to go under in this one. They already went under in a similar spot against Kansas State. Remember, they beat Kansas State at home. Actually, it was an upset in that one, right? Kansas State came in, but that one ended up going for 50 points in a home game. And I'll take the under with Cincinnati and Oklahoma State. All right, we got a big one here in this one with UNLV, big in the terms of this conference, a game of the year here with UNLV and Fresno, and UNLV on the road getting these points here. UNLV, they haven't been in this type of position in a very long time, and I've enjoyed since being in Vegas here nearly a year now, the coverage and learning and growing with this team a little bit, seeing what they've been up to. And I think one of the things for this team is, playing in this beautiful stadium. Now, granted, they still have their on-campus facilities and all that, but the proximity of the stadium and the college are very, very close. So it's not a factor like that. This is their home stadium, not this game. I'm just saying one thing that's going to help UNLV is to play in one of the most state-of-the-art, beautiful stadiums. There's never going to be a sellout crowd there or anything, or even a sparse crowd. But when you have a beautiful facility like that, you can get far more people into games that will be interested in going to the games because it's, comfortable, put a good product out there. The up arrows here in this one for UNLV this season and moving forward, because I believe, and I don't know if that's been the case here. I think it's more about what Odom has done with this program, but you're going to be able to get a little bit higher, better level of recruit, especially in a fertile place where players, Vegas, look, it's not huge. I know this. I've been here now, but there's good talent here as well. They can keep a little bit of homegrown, but you can attract a little bit of talent maybe from the West and this kind of Wild West it's going to be now moving forward when these other teams in the West get left behind from the big money a little bit. Moving forward, these Mountain West teams they're going to be screwed, really. So, anyways, I'm taking the Rebels here. Plus, is it really 9 now? Has it been going up steadily? It feels like maybe. I mean, it's even 9.5 right now. UNLV has been, pretty terrific. Yeah. Is Fresno? Look, they've had some great teams in the past, right? I mean, this is a program that can be well established in this conference. They've had big times, but here's the thing: they're still both teams are 6-1. Fresno State's 3-4 against the spread. UNLV are 6-1 against the spread. So let's take UNLV to stay in this game. This is a huge game for them. One of the biggest games they've played in years and years and years, if not in the modern, I don't say modern era, but and in a thing where the generation, you figure 10 years like something like this is a big deal for UNLV. Too bad they're on the road here. They'll hang in there, I would think. In this one, I'm going to take the Rebels for sure. Probably should premium them, but let's take the Rebs here. All right, I got one more in college football I'm going to look at here with Oregon State taking on Arizona tonight. Boy, the steam's rolling in on this FCS action. I don't ever regret being here with you guys and doing this, but when I see these moves coming in like this, I'm like, oh, how many points are we missing out on? How many games are we going to lose with missing these moves? All right, but let's keep it going here with Oregon State going up against Arizona. here with Arizona getting 3 points at home from the beat. Am I going to be on all total? No, I gave out the UNLV just now, but and I gave out a few sides, I guess. But I think I feel like I'm giving out all totals on this show today with Oregon State here at Arizona. Late action out west. I think this is where we'll kind of draw the line a little bit. I won't cover some of those Mountain West games, but for me in this one, I see a total here that has continued to let me get the right move on this. Currently at 56.5. Maybe we haven't actually seen that much movement on this game after all. I did see a low of 55.5 and maybe a high of 50. 58-ish or so, but man, Oregon State, as good as they've been this season, to continue to have to now lay points. Has there been a move, Miss? I saw Oregon State opened 5 at on Sunday when we did those circa opening moves. Oregon State usually is covered in this series, but usually they're a dog. So I don't think we can equate the fact that they've covered 14 of the last 19 games between these two because, this is a different era. And, Arizona, they've been okay with their with either quarterback in there. They've been just fine this season. I mean, Arizona's 6-1 against the spread this year. Oregon State's just 5-2. So who's been the bigger surprise this year necessarily? We know it's been Oregon State here, but I think this will probably be a pretty decent game. You have Oregon State. This is the time of the year. Usually they're starting to give up some points this time of year. They usually don't have the offense necessarily. I mean, this has been an unprecedented run for Oregon State, so they're usually not quite this good. I figure this one, to me, ends up, let me make sure I give the right play here.
Final.
I know just wanted to make sure on this one. Gosh, yeah, I mean, I want to go almost premium here, but let's do it. We're going over in this one at 56.5 tonight. Look, Arizona's passing offense could still be pretty good. They've used 2 quarterbacks this year. They've passed for over 2,000 yards. Really very, very efficient as far as expectations are concerned. I don't think they've been super efficient. I'm just saying, I don't know if we saw necessarily, especially the fact that they've had to play their 2 quarterbacks this season. But when Fafita's come in there, he has been fine. So we'll see how it goes tonight. But I would think over for me is going to get the call. Maybe I could just get the latest information on that. I think we knew for sure what Arizona was up to tonight. Delora still questionable with the leg injury. Doesn't matter. We want. I think we'd want Fafita in there the way he's looked actually. So let's just take the over here. We'll give it out at 57. Oregon State and Arizona. That's my college football for today. Thank you, everybody.